Sorry about that. Where am I? What is happening? My entire mind is filled with white noise, and I can hardly piece together a coherent thought. Letting a low, pained groan at the hammer whacking away at my skull, I try to move my arm, but I regret it instantly when it merely worsens the pain in my head. Ugh. No, don't move yet. Close your eyes and wait for it to pass. Okay. The soft, melodic, and undeniably feminine voice is familiar, but I can't seem to place a finger on it. I can't name the owner of the voice, even though I have the sinking feeling that I should be able to. Panic slowly grows inside me, and my breathing quickens, as though sensing what's wrong. She shushes me into a soothing voice, and I can feel a warm pressure on my hand. So I'm gonna guess that it's Averia. It's fine, you're safe. You're just disorientated right now. It'll pass, it's fine. You're safe, everything is fine. The fear inside me abates slightly at the reassurances, and slowly, some of the disorientation fades. Blinking through the pain in my head, I struggle to sit up. A gentle arm wraps around my back, easing me upwards and helping me lean against the tree trunk for support. A second later, the worried face of a girl with dark, strawberry blonde hair pops into my view, her lips pursed in concern. There we go, are you feeling better? Her name pops back into my head with such clarity that I'm surprised I could have even forgotten in the first place. I think it's Averia. Averia. Giving my head a small shake, the fog finally begins to lift from my mind. Sorry, I don't know what was wrong with me just now. What happened? Where are we? I don't know, I was just about to ask you the same thing. You don't remember what happened? I hesitate for a second before shaking my head. The last thing I remember is heading to the guild hall after I got your message about. My voice trails off into a gasp, and I grab Averia's arm, causing her to wince. Lyle, you said you had news about them. Are they alright? First, stop crushing my arm, and I'll tell you what you want to know. Giving her a sheepish smile, I relax my hold on her arm, and she grins. Worst grin ever. So like you to be concerned about Lyle rather than yourself, even now. They're fine. Turns out that they had an urgent mission from the king to set out to nearby villages to make sure there had been no attacks on them, so they couldn't leave a message before setting out. They just returned to the city this morning. I ran into Lyle when they were heading home to crash to sleep, but I bragged them to the guild hall to meet you first, because I know how worried you've been about them. Relief rushes through me, the breath escaping me in a loud exhale. Lyle's fine. Thank the mother. Where are they now? I should go and find them so I can hit them with my sword for scaring the life out of me with that sudden disappearance. I'm not sure. They were waiting with me in the guild hall, but when Teddy showed up without you, saying that you should have been here ahead of her, we all split up to look for you. I haven't had the time to send a message yet. You were starting to stir when I found you, so I didn't want to leave you in case you woke up. Averia's brows furrow, her lips downturned with a surprising kind of solemnness compared to her usual exuberance. Aaliyah, do you know what happened? At her repeated question, I cast my gaze downwards, unwilling to lie to her, but unable to voice the fears and worries plaguing me. It must have been another blackout. Damn it. Damn it. I'd gotten my hopes up when the blackouts didn't occur again for the past couple weeks since I took Kylan's potion. I had hoped that this potion did cure whatever was ailing me after all, but I guess Kylan was right. It wasn't a cure, only something to ease the symptoms. I should have known. Right when I'm fretting over what I should tell Averia, she tilts her head at me, a knowing look in her eyes. That was a blackout, wasn't it? The thing you wanted to ask around for information on a few weeks ago. It's been happening to you, which is why you wanted to know if you were alone and suffering from this affliction. Am I right? I open my mouth, ready to deny it, but fail to come up with a proper excuse. Averia gauges my expression before letting out a small sigh. Look, you don't need to lie to me. I'm not stupid, you know. I can put two and two together. I don't understand why you're even being so secretive about this. If you need medical help, you should go to the Royal Medics. Why are you trying to hide this? Ducking my head in guilt, I lift my shoulder in a small shrug. I didn't want to, but Lyle. They pointed out that if word got out that I randomly pass out and have no memory of what happened while I was unconscious, the higher-ups may doubt my ability to be a vassal and to protect Airis. I don't want to be kicked out of the guild. That's ridiculous. You're one of the best warriors here. I'm sure they wouldn't kick you out for something silly and beyond your control like this. I appreciate that, Averia. Averia pauses after her initial outburst, frowning as she thinks. Oh, she closed her eyes. Okay, I can see why you fear they would, but I don't think it'd really come to that. You really should see a medic about this. If they really try to insinuate that you aren't fit for your post, I'll give them a piece of my mind. That's completely ridiculous and I won't stand for it. I have to grin at Averia's passionate declaration. As much as the country adores Averia, I doubt she has that much power. I don't think they'd listen to you. Well, they should. Don't you think it'd be a completely ridiculous overreaction if they kicked you out of the guild just because you have health problems? Why don't his vassals have a labor union or something anyway? Someone needs to protect our rights. Baffled by a very strange train of thought that I can't keep up with, I can only give a low laugh. Can I really blame the authorities if they were to remove me from my post for my blackouts? I can understand why they may worry that my ability for vassal would be affected. I think that's a pretty good reason. I give a small shrug, spreading my arms in front of me helplessly. For all I know, I could be off on killing sprees while I'm passed out, and I just have no memory of doing so. I wouldn't blame anyone for being wary of me. I try to laugh it off as a joke, but I think Averia can hear the genuine tone of uncertainty and fear in my voice, because her voice softens. Isn't that all the more reason to go to a medic to see what's causing this and how to cure it before it gets worse and attracts attention from the authorities? You can't hide this forever. I have Kylan working on it. He already gave me a potion before that should alleviate the symptoms. I'm sure he'll come up with a cure sooner or later. And where is your savior that you're banking everything on? Have you seen him since the battle? I nibble on my lip, both of us knowing the answer without my response. Averia glances at me with an argumentative glint in her eyes, but she merely sighs instead of disagreeing further. Alright. I understand. It's your choice. I admit, I didn't think it was a big deal when you asked me to dig around for information, but I'll take it seriously now. I'll try to find out whether anyone knows about this. I'll also try to see if anyone knows where that damn weirdo Kylan is gone, since you believe he can help you. Flashing her a small, grateful smile, I nod. I don't know if you can hear that through the headset. Thank you, Averia. Can you tell me anything else about these blackouts? Any noticeable triggers? Anything special that happened before you passed out? I shake my head, but then I freeze at the memory of the mysterious pink glow right before I lost consciousness earlier. Noticing my reaction, Averia leans forward. her face a picture of curiosity. Let's see it. It didn't change. What? Did you think of something? I glanced at her, out of the corner of my eyes in hesitation. Is she gonna think I'm crazy? Will she even believe me? Well, I know how weird and insane this sounds, but right before I fainted earlier from the worst headache, I could have sworn I saw a strange, flashing pink light close by. What? That face was pretty bad. If you didn't see it, you should scroll back a little bit. Averia frowns in confusion, one eyebrow raised in incredulity. What does it look like? I closed my eyes briefly, trying to recall the color and shape of the light, but the memory is foggy at best, clouded by the pain and terror of the moment. Helplessly, I spread my hands in front of me. I don't really know. It was circular, kind of pink, kind of purple, somewhat like my brooch, actually. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Averia's eyes widen in shock as her gaze immediately flies to the brooch in question, resting below my neck. She's wearing one too. I can almost see her mind whirling away inside her head, and I frown, confused by her reaction. What? What is it? No, I'm not crazy, I swear. I saw it happen. I don't know if it's related, but I saw it happen. Averia's lips part, a strange look crossing her face as though there's something she wants to say. But at the last moment, she seems to change her mind. Oh, nothing. Was just surprised by what you said, since it's not every day I hear that, you know? Averia chuckles with a casual smile. Shifting her gaze away from me, but her slight stutter doesn't escape my notice. My suspicion immediately rises, but Averia's lips thin into a stubborn line as she decidedly continues to avoid my eyes. Like I said, I'll try and see what I can find out for you. Don't worry about it so much for now. Maybe the blackouts will go away on their own. Are you feeling better? Come on, I'll walk you home. My eyes narrow at her not-so-subtle attempt to change the subject. Should I question Averia? I think I should ask her directly. I feel like we've been friends, or at least co-workers, for a while. I don't think I should take that from her. I feel like she tells me everything, so why isn't she telling me something now? There's no point in beating around the bush. I should just get to the chase, and I'm sure Averia would appreciate my directness as well. Is there something you aren't telling me, Averia? If Averia is surprised at my question, she hides it well. Instead, she gives a small laugh and flashes a smile at me that doesn't quite touch her eyes. Of course not. Why would you think that? I can't say. I didn't expect that answer from Averia, but I'm disappointed nonetheless. Really disappointed. Out of everyone in the guild, even though all of us have our secrets and tragic pasts that led us to be recruited in the first place, Averia is by far the most mysterious one. It took her 2 years to warm up to us in the guild after she joined. Another year to stop being hot and cold towards us, and all this time she's never breathed a word about her past. Any attempts at forcing her to talk would only cause her to clam up and her eyes to go cold. It has happened many times before. There's no point in trying to get anything out of her when she's clearly so unwilling to speak. Well, I wish you would have told me that before. With a sigh, I cast my gaze towards the hills in the far distance, away from Averia. I will say the drawing in this game is very pretty. Like, the backgrounds and everything. The characters look nice, everything looks really nice. The music's nice. It's pretty good. Alright, we should probably head home. Some of the shadows clear from Averia's eyes, and her good-natured grin returns as she holds out her hand to offer me help. Come on, up on your feet. We better hurry before night falls. At another beat of hesitation, I take her hand and let her pull me to my feet. Let's go. Huh? Aaliyah! As soon as I enter the house, before the door has even swung shut behind me, I almost get tackled to the ground by a small ball of brown fur. Chuckling to myself, I run my fingers through Teddy's fur, petting her head gently. Hey, Teddy. Where have you been? Did you get into trouble again? Stop making me worry, you idiotic human! I share a quick glance with Averia, coming to a silent agreement not to tell Teddy about the blackout. I turn back to Teddy with a smile, hoping she can't sense my lie. Nothing. I just got caught up in a quest that fell into my lap, that's all. Teddy narrows her eyes, opening her mouth to probably question me, but Averia comes to my rescue, chiming in cheerfully. Well, now that I've safely escorted the lady home, my mission's complete. I'll be taking my leave now. She turns to leave, and I realize that between the news about Lyle and our conversation about the blackouts, I've yet to find an opportunity to thank her for caring for me and for looking for me. Despite the tension between us earlier, I'm grateful to her for staying with me and comforting me when I was confused and frightened, right after regaining consciousness. This is awkward. Sorry about that. Wait. Would you like to stay for dinner? You know, as thanks for everything. I thought that was a pretty simple question. Averia seems surprised, her lips parting. A beat of silence passes before she breaks out into a delighted smile and nods. I hope it's more delighted than that. Thank you for the offer. I'd love to. Mischief enters her eyes, and she gives me a cheeky wink. That is, unless you're cooking. I'm not sure I'm ready to die by food poisoning yet. Hey, I'm not that bad at cooking. My father was a baker in my village, you know. I learned things from him. Baking is very different from cooking, unless you plan on feeding me nothing but bread for dinner. Shoving her head while chuckling, I point at the couch with one hand on my hip. Oh, right there, sorry. Now I must prove you wrong. Go sit there and wait for the most delicious feast you've ever had the luck to experience. Smiling to myself at Averia's continuous teasing, I head towards the kitchen, a spring in my step, despite the upsetting events of the afternoon that I cannot recall. And dinner is served. I straighten my back, wiping the sweat from my forehead as I gaze upon the full table proudly. Whew! Teddy creeps up to the table, poking the pie with one paw in curiosity. Aaliyah, I never knew you could cook! You know, I feel like every time I do Teddy's voice, it's completely different. I feel like I picked a bad voice for her. That's not true. I've cooked for you plenty of times. I don't count burnt bread as cooking! You've really outdone yourself this time. Who are you trying to impress, huh? The heat rising in my cheeks at the implication of Teddy's words and the sly grin on her face. I hurriedly turn my back on her, switching my attention to Averia instead. So, did I meet your expectations? Averia continues to stare at the table in utter shock, and I swear I can see the beginning of sparkles in her eyes. I fail to bite back a proud, satisfied grin at her reaction. Needless to say, I did not expect this. Now to see if it tastes as good as it looks. Averia grabs a fork and moves toward the biggest plate of roast chicken in the middle, practically salivating from the corner of her mouth.
Wait, no! I call dibs on the chicken. It's mine.
Oh, wow. Teddy's paw shoots out towards the target dish, but Averia beats her to it. Grabbing hold of the whole plate, Averia lifts it high in the air, completely out of Teddy's reach.
Manners, Teddy. I'm the guest. I should get to pick first. No, give it to me. I've seen how much you can eat. By the time you're done with the chicken, I'll be left with only bones to chew on, and I'm not interested in that because I'm a bear, not a dog.
Teddy flails her paws around wildly, jumping up to try and reach the plate. But considering the difference in their heights, it's a hopeless cause.
Exactly. You're a bear. Bears eat honey, not chicken. Aaliyah, do you have any honey for her to shut her mouth? That's not true at all. Don't you know what bears eat?
Guys, come on. There's plenty of food to go around. Ignoring my attempt at peacemaking, they continue to squabble, fighting over the dish. I can only sit at the side, shouting and trying to be heard above the din while laughing to myself in a mixture of amusement and exasperation.
I'm a growing bear. I need more food than you do. Well, I'm a warrior. I expend a lot of energy every day, unlike you who just lazes around the house, sleeping all day.
The fight that seemed to be never-ending comes to a stop abruptly when Averia finally managed to tear off a piece of the chicken with her fork and place it in her mouth. While Teddy wails in protest, Averia's triumphant grin freezes, and a second later, she swallows with great effort. Making a face, Averia turns to me with raised eyebrows.
Aaliyah, that's not salt, that's sugar.
At Averia's words, Teddy immediately ceases her cries. Meanwhile, horror slowly dawns on me, and I jump up in panic, racking my mind to remember what I had done while cooking. What? No, I swear I added the right materials. I didn't mess up, I swear. Averia slowly places the plate back on the table, and this time, both Teddy and Averia back away from the table with wary looks. Guys, come on. Try the pie at least. It's good, I swear. Wonder if she used salt instead of sugar in the pie. Despite my pleading, Teddy and Averia merely share a glance before turning their backs on me, heading towards the door and discussing under their breaths what food to order at the tavern. Guys, come on. I'm sure it's not that bad. It's just the chicken. I've made plenty of other food.
You can come with us, Aaliyah. I'll even pay for your meal as well, as long as it means I don't have to touch your cooking again.
A pout forming on my lips, I take a quick bite of the pie, sitting next to the roasted chicken. As soon as the food touches my taste buds, I too go still and swallow quickly. Immediately, I dash after them with a sheepish grin, ignoring Teddy's smug chortling. Wait, Teddy, Averia, wait for me. Averia drapes an arm across my shoulder, smirking.
I told you can't cook.
Oh, shut up. Both of us still giggling. So bad at fake laughing. Both of us still giggling. We leave my house and begin to make our way towards the nearest tavern for a belated dinner.
Aaliyah, over here!
I lift my head at the shout of my name to see Averia waving at me from a table. Next to her is Lyle, who immediately melts into a sheepish smile at the sight of me. Huh? What's Lyle doing here? Averia did not mention them in her message when she asked me to meet her here this morning. I haven't forgiven them yet for running off without as so much as leaving behind a message, causing me to worry about their safety for a whole week. Pretending not to notice Lyle, I wave back at Averia and join them at their table.
Good morning, Aaliyah.
Pointedly ignoring Lyle's greeting, I direct my smile at Averia. So, what's the urgent quest you said you had for us? Averia's face splits into a wide grin, and she whips out a piece of paper from her pocket, flicking it over at me. I catch it deftly with one hand, reading it over. Mother of Souls, 2,000 gold coins?
Yep, pretty easy task, too. Only have to go through the Caves of Spirits and collect a small piece from the wings of the Bat King at the end of the caves.
Sounds real easy, guys. Practically salivating at the thought of the reward, I glance at Averia in surprise. How did you get this quest? Were you really lucky enough to be the first one to see this being posted up and snatched it? Have you registered with the administrator that we're accepting this quest yet?
Nope, don't need to. Perks of being the highest ranked warrior in the guild. That's not very fair. It's against the rules of Area. All quests are open to the entire guild on a first-come, first-served basis. And I'm the first one to lay eyes on it. It just so happens they had pulled a few strings to make sure that I would be the first one to see this quest from the Royal Medics.
Lyle frowns, a look of disapproval crossing their face. Averia crosses her arms, looking defensive.
What? Are you saying that you don't want to get this reward? By all means, you can leave now. I only invited you along because I was being nice. I don't mind if you leave the party. More gold for the rest of us.
Lyle's frown deepens, their eyes darting to the piece of paper in my hand again before resting on my face.
Aliyah, what are your thoughts on this? Don't you think it's wrong to bypass the rules like this?
Oh, screw that. What's done is done. I guess that would make sense, right? Register the quest? Well, okay, right. I'm not really liking Lila right now, giving him the silent treatment. And Averia did kind of save me the other day. So I'll say rules are made to be broken. Who cares about these silly rules? Certainly not I, when it means I can finally have enough gold to purchase the beautiful dragon flame sword I've had my eye on for months. It's not a big deal, honestly. Rules are made to be broken after all. Wink. I give a mischievous wink, and Averia shoots Lyle a triumphant smirk.
See, Aliyah agrees with me.
Lyle raises their hands in surrender, knowing they've lost the vote.
Alright, I can see I'm outvoted here. You guys win. Well, you don't have to force yourself to come along if you don't want to. We'd be just fine without you. No, you wouldn't. The Cave of Spirits isn't an easy place to conquer. You're going to need my healing magic. Admit it, you just want to share this hefty gold reward.
Lyle chuckles, but doesn't deny it.
Come on, let's go before the guilt makes me change my... Oh, I thought it was going to be guild, but it actually is guilt. Come on, let's go before the guilt makes me change my mind and report you to the authorities.
Apparently Teddy's coming with us. Some battle music. I glance at the countless flames spirits floating in the cave with trepidation, then peek at Averia. As expected, there's no hint of fear or uncertainty on her face, only determination and anticipation. Averia, are you sure just the four of us will be enough to do this? What is this background? It's just little candles looking. It's kind of weird.
Of course, if we invite more people to the party, the reward will be split even further. I, for one, don't want that to happen.
I swallow hard, biting my lip as I glance at the enemies ahead of us. And I really bite my lip a lot. Averia makes a very good point, but with only 2 warriors, 1 mage, and 1 bear, this is going to be a tough battle.
Ready?
Next to us, Lyle's muttering, jaws come to an end, and they nod, having finished casting enchantments on us.
Then let's go!
Teddy darts forward, a fearless, wide grin on her face. Her claws extend, knitted ready to slash into the enemies. Averia follows, and after a brief moment of hesitation, I too run after them in the midst of the fight. Why am I still hesitating? Haven't I been doing this for 2 or 3 years? I just said. Huh. Interesting. I run straight through one spirit with my blade, which disappears into a puff of smoke. Without pausing, I twist and flick my sword to deflect a fireball, and in a swift move, plunge the blade into a flame spirit on the right. Beside me, Airis is twirling her spear around in practice movements, taking down multiple enemies in one blow. Teddy, who is clearly having the time of her life, slashes out repeatedly with her claws, expertly dodging the spirit's fiery attacks with nimble movements. Meanwhile, icicles fly from Lyle's staff with the spirits piercing straight through their bodies.
Behind you! On your left!
I twirl around just in time to slice through one spirit that tried to sneak up on me, but I'm unable to dodge the puff of flames sent towards me by another one. Stumbling back, I hiss at the pain from the angerous streak of red that the flames left on my arm, but I have to immediately shrug it off and sidestep another attack.
You okay, Aaliyah? Lyle, heal her!
On it! I'm fine. Watch out. You're 3 o'clock, Averia. Averia casually sidesteps their attack, quickly jabbing her spear behind her, and taking down the spirit without so much as a blink. A cocky grin begins to spread across her face, and I can't resist returning her smile. The adrenaline pumping through my veins. The battle continues, and surprisingly, despite being greatly outnumbered, the victory comes easier than I had expected. Soon enough, the flaming spirits have all been defeated, leaving behind some tiny flickering candle flames in the once well-lit cave. I immediately collapse to the ground, with a tired but satisfied groan, closing my eyes and panting. Teddy follows suit, cuddling up against me.
I told you we can do it!
Averi's voice lacks any real smugness as she, too, is bent over, trying to catch her breaths. A second later, a green glow surrounds the three of us, and I can feel the pain in my wounds subsiding as Lyle's magic takes effect. Thanks. Lyle seems surprised at my show of gratitude, and they beam at me in return.
Of course. Come on, now that we're all healed up, we should move on to the next room. This is the Bat Boss, right?
Shouldn't we rest for a little while longer?
Nope, I'm already more than ready for the next fight. Stop being so weak, Aaliyah.
Shaking my head at Averia's taunts, I push myself up to my feet, grateful to find that my legs are steady and not wobbling as I feared. Fine, let's go then. Boss fight. We step into the room, one after another, our gazes immediately drawn to the gigantic Bat King sitting on the throne, his head ducked beneath his wings. This is a really cool looking background. Kind of reminds me of the Iron Throne from Game of Thrones. Just a little bit more cinematic, maybe. In silent agreement, we continue staying close to the wall, not wanting to draw the bat's attention until we're fully ready to go. We need to be careful. This is a tough elite tier creature.
Psh, we have this in a bag.
Averia rushes forward with her weapon held high, a confident smile on her face, sighing in exasperation. I follow after her, and prevent her from getting herself killed.
Hey, wake up and face me!
Immediately the bat stirs. He lifts his head to look at us with intelligent, beady eyes. A flash of dark shadow, and Averia is knocked back into the wall, a low pain groan escaping her. Averia, are you alright? Despite my concern, I don't dare take my eyes off the bat to check on Averia's condition, trusting Lyle to take care of her. He's fast, almost too fast for my bare eyes to comprehend. Damn it. How did worries before us conquer this dungeon? I grit my teeth, keeping my eyes focused on him, trying to predict his movements. I roll out of the way of his attack. His swing just barely clears my shoulder. Stumbling back from the impact, the agony exploding in my shoulder, I can only watch in horror as the Bat King descends upon me, and fall to the ground with a shriek when ropes suddenly appear and twist themselves around its body.
Hurry, do as much damage as possible while the spell lasts.
A fierce battle cry rings out around me, and Averia is back in action, charging at the temporarily defenseless bat on the ground with fierce vengeance. Amused, I watch as Averia begins to hack away at the bat, oblivious to his pained cries. Teddy and I join her side and aid her in her task, sweat pouring down our foreheads. Meanwhile, Lyle stays at the back of the group, trying to maintain control over the spell to keep the ropes on as long as possible. After a while, Averia begins to mutter under her breath in between her pants, frustration clearing her voice.
How does this damn bat have so much stamina?
It is an elite pure boss for a reason.
I should have just hacked the game to raise my stats before entering this dungeon.
I blink in surprise at Averia's low murmurs, tilting my head at her strange words. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay. What? What game? What stats? Averia's head whips towards me with such speed that she almost rivaled the Bat Boss's agility.
What? What did you just say?
Huh?
Could you hear what I just said?
My brow furrows in confusion, and I peer at Averia in concern, wondering if she's lost her mind. You're right next to me. Of course I can. Averia's jaws practically drop to the ground, and she tilts her head, regarding me with a shocked stare. What?
You...
Right now, out of the corner of my eyes, I notice the frayed ropes burst into a million pieces, as the bat finally strolls free of his restraints. At the same time, Lyle lets out a pained cry, ah! Doubling over and panting from the energy drained from the effort of upholding the spell all this time. Averia still has her eyes fixed on my face, clearly preoccupied by something other than the fight before us, which is why she doesn't see the bat raising behind her and lifting a wing at her.
No!
At the horror dawning on my face and Teddy's shout, Averia turns up and around. A gasp escapes her mouth at the end of the shadow above her. There's no time. Averia can't dodge time. Wow, okay. I'm gonna save just in case I, die or something. What can I do? What can I do? I can't just watch Averia die when I'm the reason she was distracted in the first place. Jump in front of Averia. Well, Lyle can't cast magic because he's on the floor panting. Push Averia away. Or jump in front of Averia. Let's see. Let's say I push her away. What's the worst that happens? Then she's on the ground and gets killed. But if I jump in front of them, I'll get hit, and then maybe Averia can kill her. I don't have time to think. I just act. My limbs driven by pure instinct. I scramble in front of Averia, spreading my arms out to protect her. The bat's humongous wing collides with the side of my head, knocking me off the ground and throwing me clean through the air. I should have pushed her away, because then maybe none of us would have gotten hit. Darn it. A blinding pain explodes in my head. The last thing I hear is a horrified, distinctly feminine scream, and everything goes dark. Transition. Melodic, soft humming, and the rhythmic stroking of my hair rouse me from my slumber, and I stir. I immediately regret the decision when pain shoots through my entire body, forcing a pained yelp out of my mouth.
Ah! She's awake! Lyle, is that a good or a bad sign? Shh! Don't distract me.
What happened? Did I die and get revived?
No, almost. Lyle managed to heal you in time while you were unconscious and teleport us out of the dungeon to safety. Don't move. Lyle's still casting spells on you.
With great effort, I pry my eyes open, struck by a sudden sense of deja vu at the sight of Averia's concerned face above mine. The corner of my lips bursts into a small smile at the recent memory, and Averia frowns in response.
Why are you smiling, you idiot? Do you know that you almost died? Why did you try to protect me? We're vassals. We revive.
To my horror, tears are starting to gather in Averia's eyes, something I've never seen before. This is the woman who has stood in front of hordes of creatures, faced death countless times, without so much as a flinch. Flustered and unsure how to react, I try to smile at her and pat her hand in reassurance. Exactly. I would have revived too if I'd gotten killed, so it wasn't like I was really sacrificing myself for you or something. I'm going to be just fine. Please don't cry. Various sniffs, rubbing the back of her hand roughly against her eyes. You're an idiot. Wait. Way to thank the one who saved your life, true that. I try to push myself up to a sitting position, but the splitting pain in my head makes me fall back down with an agonized groan. Lyle immediately begins to scold me, telling me to stay put. Averia flinches, as though she could feel my pain, and she bows her head, wringing her hands together in an uncertain gesture, completely unlike the confident, sassy Averia I know. I'm sorry. It's my fault that you're hurt. It's not your fault. If anything, it was mine. I was the one who distracted you. No, I let my guard down. I shouldn't have. Rookie mistake. I'm sorry. Don't beat yourself up over it. Happens to the best of us. Recalling her strange reaction earlier that had caused her to lose focus so uncharacteristically, I frown. What was that all about anyway? Averia opens her mouth, then hesitates, her voice slurring to a whisper meant only for my ears. I can't tell you about that right now. I will when the time is right. I promise. What are you talking about? I'm sorry. I really can't say any more right now. I'll tell you when the time is right. I swear. Interesting. Frustrated, I intend to demand explanations from Averia, but I accidentally move my shoulder, pain shooting through my body, signaling a previously unnoticed injury, probably caused by the last blow from the Bat King. Ah! Mother of souls! That really... I barely managed to swallow a particularly colorful string of curses at the pain. No, don't move. Look, for now, just focus on resting your injury, alright? Why is his eyes still closed? Averia begins to fuss over my words, barking orders at Teddy to retrieve bandages from our bags. Lyle presses a small bottle into my hand, a concerned frown on their face. Drink it. It'll knock you out and allow your body to recover. Don't worry. We'll get you safe and sound. We'll get you home safe and sound. No, I don't need it. It's fine. Besides, I can't sleep yet. We still have to finish the quest after Lyle patches me up. Averia's hands fly to her hips, and she regards him with the most fearsome stare she can muster up.
Are you insane? You're not going back in there when you're in this state.
Exactly. Aaliyah, stop being such an idiot. Drink it and rest, now. Says the one who hates healers and their potions. You need it right now. Stop being so difficult and drink it. With 3 friends glaring sternly at me from all directions, I have no choice but to obey, letting the liquid trickle down my throat. Averia clears her throat, and the soft humming that awoke me earlier starts up again. I don't know what she's humming. Fail. I realized with the start that Averia was the one stroking my hair and humming to me to calm me while I was unconscious. I opened my mouth to thank her, but the drowsiness is too overwhelming. I drift off into a painless sleep to the sound of Averia's gentle singing and my accelerated heartbeat. That's going to be the end of this episode. I appreciate it. As usual, thanks to no one for watching. Bye-bye.